energy, Scott.
Yeah.
This energy. Yeah. I gave a subtitle to the email that just went out to everybody saying, hey, we're going live. I said we'd be spilling all of the tea. I just feel like in a whirlwind or a tornado or something going on with this energy. So we're going to talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So welcome, everybody. This is Planets and Predictions, your weekly show where we talk about, yes, astrology, the vibe, what the heck is going on. We take a look at news headlines and we try to just understand what the heck is going on.
Yes.
Yeah. So welcome in. Tell us where you're joining from. Christina is saying, hello from hot Las Vegas. I was just saying, I was mowing my lawn. It's the first time I've ever had a lawn in my whole life. And I was mowing it on Sunday. And it's humid here in North Idaho. I had to stop like 5 times. There wasn't enough water I could drink to cool down. I had to get ice packs out afterwards to try to like bring myself back into my own body. Mowing the lawn is no joke. I don't know who invented this idea of having grass and mowing grass, but it's a really good workout.
Well, it's hot in Plymouth, Massachusetts. It's hot in South Carolina. It's hot and humid in Wilmington, North Carolina. It looks like there's a lot of hot places.
Man,
I guess I'm glad where I am. It's what's the temperature where I am? Let's see.
It's gotta be good.
Let's see. The temp right now is, it is 75 degrees. So we've reached our peak. Tomorrow it's 76. Saturday it gets to a high of 78. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we cooled down. We're at 72 right now. But I woke up and I have curtains in my house. I love my house. It's so cute. And I went to go.
Maria says it's hot as AF in Northern California.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
I went to go open up my curtains this morning and a rug that I had on my front patio had like flown away because it was so windy here. But anyway, I think we can all relate to weather.
I guess so. That's what I feel like people talk about when they have nothing to talk about. So it's 104 in Arizona, better than last week's 118. So yeah, another Arizona where it's 100. My mom, who's in Central California, she's always saying, "Oh, it was 104." But I always remind her that it's a dry heat. So, the dry heat is much better than the humid. I'll take a dry 105 over a humid 85 any day.
Well, it's freezing in Australia.
In Australia, yes. Diana, yes. Hi, Diana. Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Cold. Yes. Down under. Okay, Tanya. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're all roasting.
Not me. It's nice here.
Yeah, no. It's nice here too. It was actually a really good day for my second pickleball class.
You're getting into this. Wow, class. I thought you were just playing with people. It's a full class. You're learning how to do it.
It's a series of 4.
Okay.
So I showed up today for class number 2. I can see a bit of an improvement over class number 1. It was really funny though. You live in a small town when you show up for your pickleball class and your teachers say to you, "Hey, we saw you on TV." And I looked at that. I go, "Where?" Because I've been on all these different podcasts lately. And they go, "Oh, we were watching the church service where you were doing the sermon on Sunday."
What was the topic that you spoke on? And so this is on local TV, the church?
No, but they broadcast it to YouTube. And so they, one of the gentlemen that works at the church helping with the audio visual stuff, he is taking lessons from them. So they watched the church service since he's involved with it. And then they saw me and they're like, wait, is that the girl who's in her pickleball class? So small town.
Yeah. Local celebrity.
Yeah. My talk was on what death teaches us about living. Yeah. So I gave 7 reminders of what our departed loved ones want to tell us and wisdom on how to navigate our way through life. And so I think it was very well received.
Can you give us an abridged version of like the 7 pillars that you
I'll try to think of a couple.
Yeah.
One is to be in the present moment, that we're usually thinking about something that hasn't even happened yet or something that happened in the past, and we get stuck in that gear.
Yep.
So that's one of them. 2 of them was that we all have our own unique light and that we are supposed to use our uniqueness to better, ourselves, the people around us, our communities. And so are you shining your own light? Gosh, let's see here. Oh, heal while you're here is another one. Because if you don't heal it here, you actually take it with you. And you're going to have to do it either on the other side or if you incarnate back in. And so, but then at the end, I had them connect with their hearts and then bring in somebody that had passed away. And I could hear, people getting emotional.
Oh, wow.
So I think it touched people. I'll be doing another sermon August 17th. So,
Amazing.
So why not just keep going? I've done it once now. I can get up there and do it every day now. It's usually that first time though. I was talking to somebody yesterday. It's a great reminder for all of us, like feel the fear and then do it anyway.
That's courage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once you do it once, whatever it is, I actually think it gets so much easier the next time you go to do it, whether it's pickleball or mowing the lawn or whatever you have to do. The second time is so much easier. Oh, let me see here. Let me guess. Is that my mom? Oh gosh, that's funny. Yeah, so my mom surprised me. So I was getting my microphone all hooked up, and my great aunt and great uncle, she invited them to come. So they drove in from Spokane, and they were there in the church cheering me on as I was talking.
Wow.
So yeah, it was really, really nice. And then we all went and had Cracker Barrel afterwards. So
what's that?
You've never been to a Cracker Barrel, Scott?
I've never heard of Cracker Barrel. What is Cracker Barrel? Did I know what that is?
My God.
Is that famous in the Northwest or something?
Oh my God. You need to go on more road trips. It's a restaurant, but they have a store, like a country store attached to it.
Yes.
So you can like go shopping and buy like old timey candy and
maybe I've been to one of those before. I've been to those types of places off the gas station and off the road. Ramona needs to know what church this is. She's asked twice.
Yes, and I think Trina is like, wait, Scott doesn't know what a Cracker Barrel is?
I don't know. I don't think we have those in California.
So. Yeah, look, everybody's like, huh?
I got to look this up, a Cracker Barrel. Oh my God. I don't know. Anne Marie is calling me out.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what side of the country is Trina on? Where is Trina? This side of the country. What is that?
You got
in
one
Bakersfield. I go through Bakersfield all the time. I go to I know B Town. So I don't maybe I've been to a Cracker Barrel in Bakersfield. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Okay, it was at the Unity Center of Spiritual Growth. It's a non-denominational church. They believe that every religion has value. And so they welcome different perspectives, and everybody is welcome. It's like the most inclusive church I've ever been to. I went to the one when I lived in Fort Worth, Texas, and then found out they have one here, and it's right down the street from where I live. And so, they're great. They're really, really friendly. So yeah, I think that's my like life in 30 seconds update, which turned into 11-minute update. But yeah, but everybody's just giving you crap.
Terry's saying we do have them, Scott. Our local one in Sacramento recently closed, however. Okay. So I'm going to be on the lookout for a Cracker Barrel. I need to see, like, where's the closest Cracker Barrel to LA?
Michelle didn't know either.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Thank you. God, geez, it's like I've been living under a rock or something if I don't know what a Cracker Barrel is.
I mean, as my mom says, they're amazing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, so Scott.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you about your life update in 30 seconds.
Okay.
So, Scott's got some big news. Do you think we should take some guesses in the chat? So if you had to guess what Scott's really, really big news is, what do you think it is?
Oh boy, what are people going to say?
Let's just give them a moment. Let's just see if we get anything.
Let's see.
Oh, they're all still talking about Cracker Barrel.
Cindy said she ate at the one in Sacramento and it was just okay. Maybe that's why it closed. Yeah. And so not as great as the one in Idaho.
Yeah, apparently.
They're top notch.
Oh my gosh. My grandmother Eloise used to have us stop at Cracker Barrels on all of our road trips. Okay, so here's what people are guessing. Getting married.
Yeah, well, that's true. I am getting married. Yeah. I'm getting married for sure. Yeah, that's happening. That is true. That's not exactly.
That's not what I had on my mind, though. They're all saying getting married.
Yes, I am getting married, indeed. Yeah. I'm engaged. Yes.
New job. Yeah, Scott's quitting astrology.
Yeah, no new job. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to?
Well, some people said Noel said baby ? And Pam also said having a child. Trina says getting a cat. So I do love cats, but yes.
A new podcast?
No new podcast, still just the same podcast, So, but yes, we're getting married, but also we are having children, plural. So, yeah. So we found out, we knew we were pregnant, but we found out a couple weeks ago that we went to the ultrasound place and the lady said, well, I'm glad you're lying down to Gabriella and I'm glad you're sitting down to me. And she said, because are you ready for two? And we're like, two? She's like, yeah, there's two babies inside of you here. And we're like, what? She's like, yes, twins. And so, wow, that was, pretty much the highlight of my life. I don't think I've ever felt that way ever. I know I've never felt that way before, staring at the screen and seeing these two heads. I didn't really know, what we were looking at until she pointed it out. And I was like, oh yeah, those are two heads. So, it's, very exciting and, I don't know what to say. Just really excited, feel very blessed. I've never felt this blessed or fortunate in my entire life than to know that there's two babies, a boy and a girl, on their way to meet me and Gabriella. It's a boy and a girl. So, but yeah, it's, and this is one of the, just to tie it into the astrology, it's really kind of a big lesson around this North Node, South Node axis in Pisces and Virgo, because, you know, we had planned, we're like, okay, we want to have a child. And so, we did what people do when they want to have a baby. And, Gabriella was pregnant. And so we were like, wow, this happened. Okay, cool. It really happened. And we had a really strong intuition that we were having a girl. We were certain we're having a girl. And it was about, well, we did like a genetic test a couple months ago. And then, like, we did the test. Then they said they didn't have the test. They lost the test. They don't know where the test is. And it was really kind of nerve wracking, because the test tells you like the health of the baby, and it gives you the gender. And then I got a bill from the lab for the test. And I was like, okay, well, that's funny. I got a bill that's for the test, but they said they don't have the test. There's no test, or they lost the results or the blood, but I'm still getting billed. So I called them up, and after a whole ring of a roll, we ended up figuring out they found the test. The doctor had the test the whole time. It's this whole thing. And so they called me up and said, congratulations, you're having a healthy baby boy. And I was like, oh, okay. I was in shock, literally in shock. And I was grateful because I heard healthy, but in shock because it's a boy. And then it, brings up all this stuff with like myself and my relationship with my father. And, it's like now I'm recalibrating how I'm thinking about the child. I tell Gabriella, she's in shock. And it was just like, we spent like a week kind of mourning the loss of the daughter that we thought we were going to have that we never had. And then after a week, we were like, okay, we're going to have a boy. And we started to get excited about it. And this is like on the way to the ultrasound place. And then we go to the ultrasound place and the woman says, you're having a girl and a boy. And it's like, so, back to like the North Node, South Node, the North Node is in Pisces and the South Node is in Virgo. And I've been saying, I've said this to you, I've said this in our conversations, that South Node in Virgo is about releasing control, because you don't have control. And if there's something that Gabriella and I have learned about this experience is like, yeah, we don't have control. Like we thought we were going to have a girl, and then we realized we were having a boy, and then we realized we're having a girl and a boy. So there is no control. Like I've even stopped looking at like, well, where the planet's going to be. Because, of course, before we were trying to conceive, I was looking at like, okay, what's 9 months look from now? Okay, I think this will be good for us. And now who knows when they're going to come, because twins might come early. Who knows? But like, it's just, I just like give it up to God. That's what the North Node in Pisces is saying, is you have no control. You have to have faith that everything is happening for a reason, even though that's really an annoying phrase at times when you want to have control. We can't cling to an outcome that doesn't exist. It's kind of like what you were saying in your sermon. It's like, be in the present moment and don't obsess about like how things are going to be in the future, because we have no control over that. We just have, control of our own attitude and effort within this singular moment, and that's it. So
oh, well, I've been keeping that secret, and everyone is so excited in the comments.
oh, thank you.
You did disappoint Nancy, though.
Oh. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's the big news. I'm planning to open a Cracker Barrel in LA. Yes.
Oh, that makes me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, woo. Oh, so Trina's saying I could tell Scott had something big going on last week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've known for a couple weeks now, so about the twins. I want to thank Kathy, who said that's a Kathy, that's a miracle. God bless you. And Carla says, I have twins. You will love it. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. I'm excited. I'm beyond excited. Like I'm in shock, and I think I'm just going to continue to be in shock the rest of my life. So, thank you, Debbie. Thank you. And that's what I keep hearing. So many people have said this to me, and I really appreciate that. And I really felt like in that moment when I was looking at the ultrasound, I was like, you know, everyone keeps saying I'm going to be a great dad. This is God's way of saying, I think to me is like, okay, here's two, we're entrusting you with two little ones here. So, yeah, it's beyond a dream come true. I think when I was a kid, maybe I thought I would love to have twins, but it was not even a thought, and maybe this is like my non-specific manifester when you think of human design, because I was specifically thinking we're going to have a girl, and now we're having a boy and a girl. And so I feel so blessed.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I'm so excited for you. I already inserted myself as one of the adoptive aunts.
Auntie Dallisa. Aunt Dallisa.
I'll
Yes.
take it. I'll
Yes.
take it.
Thank you, Dallisa. So grateful for your support and for everyone in the chat, uh, and their, the kind words. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, we're rooting for you and Gabriella and the little babies. And oh my
Thank you.
gosh, it's going to be amazing.
Well,
So,
Gabriella is she's incredible. I just, I marvel at her every day. And, everything that, like, just the way her body's changing, and, just in her strength in going through this process. Like, it's truly like unimaginable. I can't imagine like the body, like what it does is just like mind blowing. So I just have so much respect and love and appreciation for Gabriella, and her willingness to go through this for us. It's like, wow, you're doing this. I feel like this is the greatest gift. So,
oh,
yeah.
oh my gosh. Well, you'll have to, when you have something that you're wanting to share, please tell the community
Oh,
here. I'm
yeah, for
sure people
sure.
will want updates and
Yeah, I
yeah.
will. Yep. Yeah, we're
Mhm.
not sharing the names yet. That's well, we're gonna wait till they arrive, and then but I'm coming up with all my different jokes. Somebody's like, "Oh, are you naming them Jamie and Cersei?" It's like from Game of Thrones. I don't know if you
Oh, I
remember.
was thinking Cersei, wasn't she? There was a book about her that I sort of half read in a book club. Was she like a mythical woman?
I don't know. Well,
Cersei?
she's in she's a main character in Game of Thrones, and Jamie
Oh,
and Cersei are like, they're an incestuous brother and
oh,
sister.
oh my God.
They're just of the Lannister family.
Yeah, we're going to skip over those
Yeah,
ones.
exactly.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Oh, well, now let's
Mm.
switch gears into the
Yes.
astrology.
Yes.
So, what I wanted to talk about this week was I'll bring it up on the screen just so people can see what it looks like. These are the glyphs. So, Mars
Mm.
is here in
Mhm.
red. Looks like the circle. Scott will describe what it is. I just say it's a circle with a little arrow.
Yeah, it's a circle of spirit with an arrow pointed in a clear direction, signifying your eternal soul and how it acts, how it moves forward without thinking. Mars is the god of war, the planet of action, aggression, conflict, confidence, authenticity. Yes, and then the south node, that's a crescent of receptivity with a circle of spirit at each end of the crescent. It signifies the karmic pathway of the soul, or soul's purpose. It's what you're learning from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. Yes.
So this just struck me when I was thinking about the astrology for this week. So there's a lot going on, and
Oh
we're right
yeah.
up against the Mercury retrograde,
Yep.
or yeah. But when I saw this, I just felt like, ooh. When I think about Mars conjunct, so this is 19 degrees. I think he said it was on Sunday that they were going to be conjunct exact.
Yep. Yeah. This, like, that image that I took, when was that? That was, oh, I totally lost it. But yeah, it's on Sunday
Mhm.
sometime, um, is when that's happening. Yeah. So,
So when I think about the planet Mars being next to the South Node, I would love to have your thoughts on this because I think of it as like an ending, like
hmm,
some kind of action that feels like it's aligning with an ending. It doesn't have to be a bad ending,
right.
but some kind of chapter closing. Like
Hmm.
if you're single, maybe you meet someone and you're not single anymore, or um, maybe it could be, you've been sick for a long time and now you're having this breakthrough. And so it doesn't have to be bad, but do you think Mars next to South Node is some kind of ending?
I love that. Sure. And I think what the ending could be is just that, what we were talking about earlier, releasing control. It's the ending of releasing control. It's like having the courage to release control, having the courage to stop beating yourself up. That because control is really like the fear of something going the way that maybe you don't want it to go, that you desperately want things to go a certain way, and you have to let go of that. You have to say that it's okay if things don't go the way that I thought they were going to go. It's okay. It's releasing that critical voice. Virgo is the virgin. It's signifies humility, modesty, perfection. And so there's that urge to really beat ourselves up, that if only I had done it this way instead of that way, then it would have been okay. It would have been better. And this is saying, the way that things worked out is how they were meant to work out. And you have to show yourself compassion for the experience that you had, because beating yourself up over the experience is not helping you. It's not moving you forward. And this is, when you think of the ending, it's saying that way of thinking is over. The way of thinking moving forward is to have greater compassion. And through that greater compassion, you're going to you're going to really be able to hone in on the details in a way that's productive instead of destructive.
Wonder how many people listening to this can relate to that. Some
Mm.
themes that I've seen already this week, and we're only on Tuesday, is getting really quiet and sitting with ourselves and asking, like, what isn't working anymore?
Mm.
What do I want to let go of? And the last like 24, 36 hours, I've been hearing a lot the quote from Rumi, live life as if everything is rigged in your favor. And I've
Mm.
been hearing that over and over. And then the other thing that's been coming in is sometimes, myself included, I get like lost in thought and I'm just overthinking, and it's like looping on a thought. And it came in yesterday. I heard God can hear you. And so for me, it was this reminder that I am not lost in thought just within my own head by myself, that the universe, God, source, whatever you want to refer to it as, can also hear the thoughts that you have, the thoughts that you are running around in your head like a hamster wheel. So let me know in the comments, have you been feeling a sense of an ending? Have you been feeling um, more connected maybe to your thoughts and spirit or the universe, like just let me know, like a vibe check. How have you been feeling? Let me know in the comments. And we'll bring Scott back on.
I don't know what happened again. That's so weird. Like, I mean, I'm watching you the whole time, but I just disappeared off the screen. So I closed it off and then came back. But I really love what you were saying, Dallisa, because, yeah, of course, God knows your thoughts. God knows everything. Like you're not alone in your thoughts. I've never thought that I'm alone in my thoughts. That's why it's always interesting to me when you hear psychics or intuitive people say, like, you've got to say it out loud, and I guess there is power in that, but like I'm like, does God not know what I'm thinking? Do the higher power not know what's going on in my mind or in my heart? Of course they know, whether I say it or not.
I guess my thoughts, I guess I hadn't really thought about it in a while, because my thoughts to me have felt like they were just like a scratch pad. Like I was just working things out in my head, not really bringing that back to the universe and energy and how thoughts are magnetic. I hadn't really thought about it in a moment. I think about it more when I'm writing it out, like when it's outside of me. But I think it was good to be reminded this week of even the thoughts that you're not saying out loud still count.
Yes.
And they are heard. And so even if, let's say you're an example, you're in an argument with someone and you're like, gosh, I can't really talk to them right now. I can't say what it is that I feel like I need to say. Maybe the timing isn't right. You're still trying to find your words. Whatever it is that you're thinking inside of your head about that other person, it is being observed. It is being looked at. Not that I think that there's a huge judgment that comes with that, because I do think the universe and God is forgiving. But I don't think we can hide behind, what's going on in our head. I think that's open for observation as well. So, yeah. So maybe this week, like being called to even consider our thoughts that we aren't saying out loud, and just remembering that those count too.
Yes.
Yeah. So Mars in Virgo conjunct the South Node. Mars is going to end up separating off from the South Node, and it's going to keep going. It's going to head into what, Libra next?
Libra, yes. Exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And I know we did the whole live on Facebook and we talked a lot about the rest of the year. What's a sneak peek of Mars in Libra? I mean, you talked about Mars being a planet of action, can be aggressive in the sign of Libra, which could ask us to find more balance or look at our relationships. So when Mars goes into Libra next, do you think that that is going to be a key point where we're going to be looking and examining a lot of our relationships?
For sure. The god of war in the sign of relationships, the cardinal air sign symbolized by the scales, which represent balance, harmony, equanimity, fairness, ruled by Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. So, when the god of war transits through Libra, it's encouraging you to create balance and harmony and fairness in your relationships. If something is out of balance, maybe that's where the conflict comes up. Conflicts will arise where there are imbalances in your relationship. If you're avoiding the relationship issues, then it will be brought to you in some way. Did we forget the jar? Is that what happened here?
You saw me like sneak that onto the screen as you were talking. I can't believe it took the chat 35 minutes to recognize the jar was not
where's
there.
the jar? Yeah.
It's there now.
Okay, so everybody now needs to comment again to get into the jar. So sorry, everyone. If you've commented, it doesn't count. You have to comment again. We got to fill up the jar.
Yeah, we got to fill it up because right now it's empty.
Yeah. So,
oh my goodness. So
but
yeah, a lot.
it's you know, yeah, there could be some conflicts in relationships. That's how I view it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's helping motivate you to recognize where there's imbalance in relationships, motivating you to advocate for your side and motivating you to see things from the other side. So yeah, and when you think about it, transiting from Virgo to uh, Libra, if we have forgiven ourselves, if we're no longer beating ourselves up mentally, we're learning to forgive ourselves, then when Mars moves into Libra, hopefully there will be more harmony and peace in your relationships.
One can hope. Yes. So Sonia's saying Libra is the law, a sign that does not like conflicts. A lot of notaries, lawyers, judges are Libras, have a lot of Libra energy. Yeah, I've noticed in folks that not everybody, it's a blanket statement I'm about to say, but folks that have Libra sun or Libra rising, I've noticed they really like approval from other people.
Yeah, well, so Libra sun is somebody who's going to identify with their relationships. So if there's something out of balance with your partner, then you feel that there's something out of balance with you. So, it's like, Gabriella is a Libra, and so like she's, she really loves when I am doing well, it makes her feel better. If I'm not doing well, then it's dysregulating for her. So that's kind of the gift and the challenge for Libra is being able to be an individual separate from your relationships. But Mars transiting through Libra is bringing that up. It's bringing tension to relationships, to the other side, and it's forcing you to look at the other side. If you don't look at the other side, if you are a Libra and you have trouble even looking at yourself because you're always fixated on the other side, it may create conflict with the other side, so that because there's something out of balance there, so that you can focus on yourself more. But I really liked what was it Sandra who said that Libra is Sonia. Yeah. Libra doesn't like conflicts. It doesn't like conflict. It doesn't really like competition. And Mars transiting through is going to bring some of that to the frequency of Libra. So there may be some difficult conflicts during that period.
When was the last time that Mars was in Libra? Do you happen to know?
Yeah, it was 2023. And that was right when Hamas kidnapped the people in Israel. And that's when Mars was in Libra squaring Pluto in Capricorn. So it was October 2023. It's been 2 years or almost 2 years. So tension. Yeah. The god of war in the sign of peace,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why we're talking about Libra, Mars going into Libra, giving you that sneak peek, because I think it's better sometimes to know what we're headed into with Mars, because it can dredge up a lot. And so because it's going into Libra relatively soon, it will put our relationships at the forefront. So we might as well start working on them now. And
that's it.
Yeah.
That's
kind
it.
of see it from their perspective.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what Mars in Virgo is doing right now. It's like, get through all the criticisms, all the critical analytical, micromanaging, nitpicking. That's what Mars in Virgo is doing. And so maybe Mars conjunct the South Node is like an ending to the nitpicking and the micromanaging and the, being too controlling over certain aspects of yourself that spills into your relationships. Because if you can really look at yourself in a way that's positive, then it will be positive for your relationships, hopefully.
Yeah. So what do you do if the other person on the other side of the equation doesn't want to find balance and harmony? Because we all probably know somebody in our life, either now or an example from the past, where it didn't matter how much we tried to meet in the middle. Mm-hmm. It just didn't happen. Like maybe the other person didn't want to let go of being angry, or they wanted to place blame on you and they weren't ready to let that go. Maybe you did do something, right? But so what's your thoughts on, we can't control the other person. And so is it just sending them like grace from a distance and grace to ourselves and just trying to move forward without them, or in a way?
Maybe. I mean, is this somebody who you see regularly? Is this somebody who, yeah, exactly. Time to surrender. That's right now. Is it somebody who you see regularly, or is it somebody that, like, I feel like I need a more specific example, because there's different ways to look at it. If it's somebody that's regularly a part of your life, and you can't avoid them, you see them every week or once a month, and there's tension. I feel like when Mars is transiting through Libra, that's the time to engage. To say, listen, like, there is something here. It's like having the courage to, Mars is courage. So it's having the courage to initiate the action necessary to bring peace. Like, there's an issue between the two of us. And if they say, no, there's no issue, I just don't like you. Okay. But we just bring that, at least we're clear on what's going on the other side. Let's not forget that Libra is an air sign. So air is communicative. I am speaking into the air, and it's going through the air to your ears. It's not through the fire. I'm not speaking through the water. I'm not speaking through the earth. I'm speaking through the air. So this is a time to have the courage to initiate the conversation or the communication necessary to bridge the gap. Let's remember that Libra rules the kidneys, and the kidneys are the part of the organ in the body that purifies the blood. The hope for Mars in Libra is that by the end of Mars transiting through Libra, there's no more bad blood. There's two kidneys, there's two sides of the scale. We want to purify the blood, no more bad blood. So, if somebody's avoiding you, but you feel that, maybe it's time to reach out and engage and say, this is an issue with me.
And to hopefully find a center within ourselves so that we can speak from that place of groundedness where we've thought about it and we've massaged it out, and now we're ready to speak it out into the air.
And that's the thing, because all this introspection right now with Mars in Virgo is getting into those critical, nuanced areas of our psyche. And so that you can go to the person and say, listen, there's an issue between the two of us that I want resolved. And I'm going to initiate the resolution by saying where maybe I have misstepped, or maybe I'll open it up and say, can you tell me the reason why you're upset with me? Well, you should know. Okay, well then was it because of this or because of that? I want to get this resolved. So yeah.
Do you do astrology sessions where you meet with two people that are in some kind of relationship and do their synastry and talk to them about it?
Oh yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to look at two people, especially if two people, are having challenges with each other. Because the most illuminating thing when you're in those readings is showing people like, look, your Mercury is squaring their Neptune. So like there is a cloudiness to the way that the two of you communicate with one another. Like this person is assuming that you're understanding what they're saying, but you can't assume that they understand. And you need to ask more questions over here. So that if you don't understand, let them know. It's because we get stuck in this space where it's like, well, they're just this way, and they don't, it's like you think that they're doing this to you. And it's like they don't know that they're harming you. A lot of times they don't even know that they're harming you. It's like a dog that's maybe playing too rough and they bite you. It's like they need to be told that, no, you don't do that. So when you can show people the tension between their two charts, it kind of like alleviates the pressure, where it's like, oh, they're not just trying to mess with me all the time.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Doing synastry in astrology is so interesting. Yeah. I could think of a few times where I've used synastry in my own life, and yeah, it's been interesting. But yeah, I don't know.
Maureen's getting into some deep thoughts here, I just have to say.
Yeah.
She's like, sadly, my bestie is a Libra. I
Oh.
unfortunately ended our friendship due to her wanting approval all the time. That's like what you were saying, right, Dallisa?
Yeah.
I tried to approach her about this. She didn't recognize it, and it changed the subject. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
But
That's tough.
every zodiac sign has
Their
a
own
whole
issues.
scale
Yeah,
of,
exactly.
high form, low form,
Yep.
and we usually just kind of go in between the high and the low. And but yeah, I think a lot of us, frankly, in this incarnation are trying to really, really know our own worth and not have it anchored to anyone else. And so I do think that Mars and Libra that's coming up for all of us, I think that'll help us rethink that, and where are we getting our value from, and are we doing things to try to find approval? Are we a people pleaser? So that could be a big theme that comes up with Mars and Libra.
Absolutely. That's a big Libra tendency, is the people pleasing tendency. And so Mars and Libra is going to help us hopefully find our authenticity within relationships. And am I doing this because of me, or am I doing it because the other person? And if I'm just doing it because the other person and I'm self-sacrificing now, maybe I'm not doing it for the right reasons. That's one way to maybe ponder that transit.
Yeah. I'm going to put you on the spot and ask, do you know when Mars is going to go into Libra?
Yeah. That's happening. Let me just look at my notes here.
That way we can all be ready.
Yeah. Where am I? Okay, here it is. So that is happening, is going to be August 6th is when Mars transits into Libra, and it's transiting through Libra from August 6th to September 22nd. August 6th to September 22nd. And so, and I'll give you the last time too. The last time Mars transited through, and that will give, actually, if you give me a second, I will find, I got to go into my deep dive of notes, but I will find like the last few times that Mars has transited through Libra. I like to do this, like, if you listen to my podcast, like whenever I'm talking about these transits and a planet going into a new sign, I will talk about the last few times it's transited through that sign, so that it gives you some perspective. You can think back of what was going on then, and maybe there's some insight into what's going to happen this time around. But the last time Mars transited through Libra was wait, is this right? August 27th. Let me just double check. August 27th, 2023. Is that right? It is, yeah. So August 27th, 2023 to October 11th. So August 27th to October 11th, 2023. The time before that was September 14th to October 30th, 2021. And the time before that was October 3rd to November 18th, 2019. So those were the last 3 times that Mars has transited through Libra. So maybe that gives you some insight. Go back and look through your phone, look at the photos you were taking around those dates, scroll through your emails, or if you have texts that are that old, it might give you some insight. Will help you remind you what you were going through then, and which will maybe give you some insight into what will be happening the next time around. But of course, if you were born with any key points or planets in Cancer or Capricorn, there will be challenges when Mars squares. Oh no, sorry, Dallisa. Did I say something wrong? You seem really offended by that.
My natal Mars is in Capricorn.
So there's going to be some challenges for you, around action. Yeah, nobody gets out clean. Everybody's probably got some cardinal planets.
Yes, we all have things that we're working on and
Yeah.
working through, and
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This incarnation. Whew. Okay.
Oh, Christina is asking an important question here. I like what she's saying. So, yeah. Is that your husband on your on your screen here? So, the outbreak, is that, you mean like an explosion of some sort? I mean, that's the ram. The ram, when 2 rams smack horns. Like, have you ever heard 2 rams headbutt each other? I mean, it's
He
a
says he's
crackling.
quiet though. That he's the quiet one and he's the Aries.
Yeah, well, I mean, I imagine that he's probably has an introverted rising sign, or his son is in an introverted house. But the outbreak, I think, is maybe she's saying, like, there's an explosion that takes place. I mean, that happens a lot with Aries. Like, when they get mad, it will be an eruption.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sudden and it's unexpected, and it can be shocking, and then they're fine, and everybody else is dealing with the aftermath of what they just experienced from their rage. Yeah.
I always take notes from the 2 of us to improve my life. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome, Clara. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Oh, that's her son.
okay.
I was like, wow, we're really calling your husband out with this picture on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about headlines because just another light week.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we couldn't really find any headlines, but we did our best.
Oh, come on.
I'm just kidding, of course. Okay, so psychically, I have been feeling on edge about the Epstein saga. There's a couple headlines we're going to look at because I've been talking recently in my Sacred Signals community about like false flag events and feeling like, there's going to be some kind of attack. I don't like how I feel when I'm looking at the Epstein stuff because I think it could be prime time for some kind of diversion, some kind of other news story that happens. It takes our focus someplace else. So I'm a bit concerned about some kind of event happening, which we'll go through these. We've got several news stories, but I'll go through these first couple. So Bongino is talking about potentially leaving the Trump administration. Sounds like him, Kash Patel, and the the heck's her name? The lady on the screen totally escaped me.
Is that the lady who's like his press person?
No, no, but she has been talking about the Epstein files.
Okay.
And she came out and said, "Oh yeah, the files are on my desk." And then Kash Patel and Bongino were saying their story over here. And then other people are coming up these other stories. And so basically it's turned into like a hot mess express. Pam Bondi, thank you.
Pam Bondi.
So the whole thing is a mess. And I do think we don't have the truth as to what's been happening. And so now it's like, okay, are they going to double down and do more of the nothing to see here story? Or is there going to be some big attack or something that happens with the war with Russia and Ukraine? Because that's a top news story happening right now. And I think we have a news story about it. But even talk today about Putin saying he may just go nuclear on Ukraine.
Wow.
So that's coming back into the talk. Right. So now it feels like the war is really escalating because I think it was yesterday, Trump had said that Putin will get on the phone with him and say, okay, yeah, everything's fine. Of course, I'm paraphrasing because I'm not on the phone with them. But then he'll get off the phone and then Putin will go attack Ukraine. So Trump's basically saying Putin's not playing nice in the sandbox. And so if they don't come to some kind of deal within the next 50 days, 50, then there would be tariffs that would be imposed. And Trump had a whole deal on what he was going to be imposing and on who and what that would look like. So basically in the last day, it's turned into a bigger issue between US and Russia. And then we're giving we're going to be manufacturing weapons for Ukraine. So I think it could be relatively easy for anyone to create a diversion. If there really is information about the Epstein passing and files, one of the quickest ways to get people to stop talking about it or at least pause it would be something big that happens that everyone has to start talking about the other event.
So you're saying that, so am I reading this correctly? So this is the FBI director and the deputy FBI director and then the US Attorney General, and they're both thinking of resigning because of this Epstein issue. Is that what the issue is here?
I don't think she has come out to say she's going to resign. There have been a lot of people that have asked her to. But Bongino has apparently left his office last Wednesday after all of this started happening around the nothing to see here. Why do people keep asking about this? Go on your merry way. So he stopped showing up for work and then put the word out that he was thinking about resigning. So shake up in the administration around this whole Epstein saga.
I mean, can we just take a moment and say, he hasn't even been in office for 6 months. And you have these major players. I mean, never mind Elon Musk and, how he's just totally off the Trump team. But now these other potential exits 6 months in, I mean, it just plays into his Gemini nature because, I mean, this was a major, I felt talking point about we're going to get to the truth of this Epstein thing and then to just brush it under the table. And so, yeah, I mean, it would make sense that, if there's some sort of escalation in conflict between Russia and Ukraine, then it would be easier to brush the Epstein files back under the rug. But the bottom line is I don't really feel like Epstein is going to go away because, I mean, a lot of people on the right, and I don't really know for certain what Trump said about it on his campaign, but I just know from, looking on Twitter or X or Instagram, like people that seemed aligned with Trump, one of their sort of things they were holding their hat on was like, we're going to get to the truth about Epstein. And whenever I would ask people about, I'm like, but Trump was like photographed with Epstein multiple times. Oh, well, that was just in passing. He was just like at a party together. You get pictures taken. There's always some sort of excuse. But this, this behavior of not acknowledging these files in a meaningful way, it makes, I think, anyone say like, well, why would he brush this under the table? Was he involved in some way? Like, what's going on here? So if you're somebody who's on the right, who's been hanging your hat on the Trump coat hanger, saying that he's going to be the one who's going to blow the doors off of this Epstein stuff, and now it hasn't happened, like, how can you continue to be aligned with him?
Yeah, I do think there is some conspiracy stuff that's actually true. And when I have been looking at it psychically, what I've heard from Spirit more than once was they aren't releasing the information because it puts some countries and some leaders of some countries at risk. Mm-hmm. So it's like a huge security issue. So to me, it felt very wide and deep that this goes. It's not just the US. And there have been a lot of people that have come out in the last week talking about Epstein's ties to Israel. Mm-hmm. And that is a big rabbit hole because, yeah, can you imagine? Like, but I think where there's smoke, there's fire.
Well, so let's not forget, was it Prince Andrew photographed with this young girl however many years ago?
I think she was 17 years old.
Yeah, she was not of age. And I mean, I don't know how much higher up the chain you can go than a member of the royal family who was kind of like pushed out to pasture, by the rest of the royal family. So, I mean, there's going to be world leaders that are directly affected by this. There has to be.
So let's see if there's some big news story that happens over the next few days to a week. Because now I think they're really starting to feel the pressure of it because people are not dropping it.
No, because now you're going to get attacked from both sides.
Yeah.
Like, it was the right was hanging their hat on, we're going to get to the bottom of Epstein. We know that Epstein was connected to Bill Clinton and all these people on the left, that were behind COVID and all this sort of stuff. Well, now what are you going to do if Donald Trump isn't showing up there? So, yeah, I mean, is this what this is about with Tucker Carlson? Yeah.
Yeah. So Tucker's got this huge show on YouTube. And I think he interviewed the president of Iran last week. But he's talked about like, oh yeah, I've talked to Trump. Like, it sounds like Tucker and Trump have some kind of relationship. Mm-hmm. But Tucker, I think more and more, my read on his energy is that Tucker would rather be outspoken and call it out now and getting more vocal about his thoughts and interviewing a bunch of different people. Mm-hmm. There was a guy he interviewed, I can't remember his name, but it was just a couple of, maybe it was yesterday or Friday, that they were like, let's get down and dirty about this Epstein file. Like, what the heck is going on? So even if Tucker is associated with Trump, he's not, by the looks of it, isn't allowing that to get in his way of actually trying to have a conversation about what it means. So I think Tucker is fanning these flames around people on both sides that are wanting the Epstein files released. And I think he's kind of encouraging them to get louder, is my read on it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like the right's been hanging their hat on we're going to get to the bottom of Epstein, and if now your leader is not going to get to the bottom of it, then I've got Tucker's chart. We can look that up. But of course, now the left is going to be getting all over this too, so they're going to be getting hit from both sides. Let me see if I have Tucker's chart right here on the ready. Where is? Oh, I've got to look it up real quick. But yeah,
My mom says we both have great
I
hair
know.
today.
I'm like, meanwhile, I was going to say that. Meanwhile, your mom is talking about our hair. We're talking about the Epstein files, and your mom is complimenting our hair. I love it.
Yeah, that's where we're at this July 15th.
Hilarious. Yeah, Tucker Carlson. He's a Taurus sun, a Taurus moon, and a Cancer rising.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A very, surprisingly, like, the Cancer rising is kind of a surprise maybe, because you don't think of him as being like, oh, he would be sensitive and, that's what Cancer is about. But definitely see the bullish nature of Tucker, with the rising of, or the moon and sun in Taurus. So, but
Something that doesn't surprise me about the Cancer rising part. So,
he's a big family man.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. So when he left or got fired from Fox News and started his own show,
Yep.
He didn't know, is this thing going to work, not work?
Yep.
So he started by literally doing it at his dining room table.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of the people he interviews now, they just sit at his dining room table and have a conversation. So
he's like, I can be a YouTuber,
And I would argue he's far more successful now than he was when he was on Fox News.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's doing his own thing now. So,
and he can say whatever he wants, which is probably that Taurus energy is like,
exactly.
Here it is.
Yeah. Well, he was born under a new moon in the 11th house. So he's very purpose driven. The 11th, the purpose driven is the new moon, especially with the moon after the sun. It's like the sun is invigorating his emotions. The 11th house is the house of friendship. It represents the community. So this is why, and he was born with the sun, moon, and Mercury on the 11th house. This is why he identifies with being an American, his community, his country. He has an emotional connection to being a part of something greater than just himself. I think that's part of the reason why he's on TV, and outspoken in that way. He was also born with the sun and moon trine Jupiter. So that gives him that big personality. He was born with the North Node in Pisces in the 9th house. This is why I think that he's had a lot of success being on TV, speaking his mind, sharing his opinion. Neptune is also in alignment with his moon, his sun, his North Node. So he's very intuitive. And that might make him a good interviewer. He's able to really pick up on what other people are giving him or showing to him. He was born with Pluto aligning with his sun. So the moon, Pluto, Jupiter, Neptune, and the North Node all align with his sun. So really, and his ascendant as well is aligned with the sun. So very strong identity and, ability to put himself out there in a way that that's meaningful to his viewers, I imagine.
Wow. Thanks for taking a look at his chart. I think we've got this other one on here too, this other article about this case. Ghislaine Maxwell, ready? Now this is a Daily Mail. Take it with a grain of salt. But this has come out in a few different news outlets in the last couple of days that she wants to talk. And it sounds like her testimony is sealed and nobody wants it out. And so like, is she under some kind of gag order, or because I mean, she's locked up. Can she talk?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, hopefully she doesn't commit suicide. Like Jeffrey Epstein, whether he did or did, it's like, are they going to silence her? And as far as like the Daily Mail goes, all I know is, like, when I used to work in publicity, we used to always laugh at when people would talk down about these news sources, because, like, most of the time it's true. It's just like, it's not like the other news sources aren't going to print this because maybe they have ties in with the people that they're covering. And so, yeah, I mean, I think this is the number one person that everyone should want to hear from, right? Like, give us the truth here.
Yeah, I mean, and if she did talk, I hate to say, like, what is there to lose at this point? I mean, she's locked up. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got to hear from Ghislaine. I need
Mm-hmm.
to know what's going on. She knows, what this client list was all about. She's, photographed with all these people. So yeah.
Yeah, more to come. Yeah. As Ravina says, life is stranger than fiction.
It certainly is.
Whew. Okay, let's see where we're going next. This one, okay. So kids turning to artificial intelligence for friendship, saying, I don't have anyone else to talk to. A new UK report reveals children are turning to chatbots for homework help and emotional advice, and sometimes because they have no one else. Oh, this just makes my heart hurt.
Really? Oh.
It does, because I've been that kid that was made fun of, that, you're like, oh, who are my friends? When I was going to elementary school. And so I could be the kid in this article, and so, yeah, it kind of just makes me sad. On one hand, I think, okay, well, if AI can help them in a positive way sort through things, and then I think it could be good. But if a kid grows up thinking, well, this is the one thing I can turn to that's always there for me, does that create some kind of unhealthy paradigm with artificial intelligence? I heard something yesterday. There was a conversation happening on TV about a kid feeling left out. And the reframing of it, it was on Mel Robbins' podcast. There was an attorney on there that specializes in reframing thoughts and how to get through an argument by reframing. And so their discussion point was helping a kid by letting them know, I'm sorry you weren't invited to that party, but you just weren't meant to be there. You were meant to be somewhere else, and try to help them through it in a more positive way. But how many parents out there have the capacity or understanding of being able to help their kid move through it?
Yeah, exactly. I see this kind of from a different perspective, I guess. When I was my preschool picture, class photo, we each took a picture. I'm the one kid holding my I called him Kuka, but it was my Cookie Monster stuffed animal, and I would not take a picture without Kuka next to me. And so I mean, I feel like I always had like a stuffed animal or a make-believe friend that I was talking to, and now, quite frankly, I do have conversations with AI.
Yeah.
I'll be up late at night, and if I struggling with something, I'll just like go into the AI and start telling it my problems and stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is really helpful. So
it is.
Like, I mean, on one, and I think about it like this too. It's like, as a kid, like, what was the movies that like we grew up idolizing was like Star Wars, and like, who is Luke Skywalker's best friend? It was like C-3PO, it's a robot.
True.
You know, it's not a person, it's a robot. And, and then there's R2D2. Those are like his buddies that he's talking to. So, I mean, I think that that's just how we're going to go. Everybody's going to have their own sort of AI interface. I think about that movie. It came out a few years ago, Her,
Mm-hmm.
with Joaquin Phoenix, which was kind of disturbing. So, there is like a shadow side to this. But yeah, exactly. So,
Better than some of the humans. Yeah.
so I mean, on one hand, maybe it is sad because the kids don't have any friends. But on the other hand, like, I find that AI is really like positive when I'm talking to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe it's helping these kids in some way feel less alone or feel understood. Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting pathway forward because we know that artificial intelligence and technology is going to be a huge part of our world.
Mhm.
And I think it can be incredibly helpful. And it can, as the astronaut says, AI is
Mhm.
a mirror. And that, anybody can turn to AI and have those conversations, or say like, okay, so and so sent me this text. Here's the context of how I know this person. I'm not sure how to reply. Um, it might help us to find a bit more, as you were saying, Scott, a little bit ago, about Mars going into Libra and trying to see the other side of the equation.
Mhm.
AI may be able to help coach us into seeing, what is being said, or how could we approach it in a more graceful, calm way.
Mhm.
So I agree. I think it can be incredibly helpful.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I hope it's positive. Of course, there's a shadow side to everything, but this is where we're at. AI is not going away; it's here. So let's utilize it, hopefully in a positive way. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, Spirit, as we've been talking about this, was just showing me this vision of people in the future living in pods, and
Mm.
that they are just inside of the pod in some kind of virtual reality experience.
Yeah, they made a movie about that. It's called The Matrix.
You know what? I don't know if I've ever been able to make it through any of the Matrix movies.
You just need to watch the first one. Don't worry about the
Okay.
next two. But the first one is exactly that, where
Oh,
you realize that that Neo, the Keanu Reeves character, realizes that he has been living in a simulation his entire life.
what?
Yes. That like he wakes up and he realizes that he's in this pod and looks around and it's just like millions of other pods and the people like they've got like this thing that goes in the back of their neck here that's like feeding on the soul, and they're
What?
all locked into the simulation and the machine. And so that's the fear of where AI is going, is that we're all going to be controlled by the machine, and we're going to be, oh no, now Dalisa's gone. So I want to hear from the audience, like, what do you guys think about this? Because Dalisa's getting insight that there
We're
is,
on.
yeah, there you are. You're back. Yeah, that's what happened to
Okay.
me.
So we were talking about the Matrix and the future of AI,
And
and
you
they
got
cut
shut
us
down.
off.
They shut you down. Yeah. Yeah. And the prequel is the Terminator. Exactly. The Terminator. So, that's, they've shown us these, the Terminator, the Matrix. There's, yeah, exactly.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah, yeah.
The Matrix got me. Okay, I hope
Mhm.
I'm still on Earth. I'm not sure, but
You
yeah.
need to watch The Matrix, Delisa.
Okay.
Watch The Matrix. And here's something really trippy too.
Yeah.
All the conspiracy people out there. There's this moment where uh, Keanu Reeves is being interrogated,
Mm-hmm.
and they look at his passport, his passport's literally on the screen for a second.
Okay.
If you pause it at that 1 second and you look at his passport, the expiration date on his passport is September 11th, 2001. And The Matrix came out in 1999.
Oh my God, it took the air out of me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh God. Oh
There's another
God.
film, The Big Lebowski. If you've ever seen The Big
I think
Lebowski,
a long time ago, but I don't remember it.
Which came out in the 90s, and it is about making like laziness and apathy heroic. And there's this moment where Jeff Bridges, who plays the Lebowski, he is going to the grocery store in the middle of the night to because he's run out of half and half for his White Russian. He needs to have his half and half for a White Russian. Goes to the grocery store, opens it up. It's the middle of the night, smells it to make sure it's okay, drinks a little bit of it, takes it to the register, pays for it, writes a check for 69 cents. As he's writing the check, there's a little TV on where the register person, the clerk, is checking him out, and it's George Bush the first saying, "This aggression will not stand." And he's talking about like Iraq, and Jeff Bridges is writing out a check for 69 cents for this milk, and the date that he puts there is September 11th, 1991.
I have chills all over my body.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what this reminds me of? It's not maybe that cool, but Three Men and a Baby. Did you ever see the ghost in that movie?
Oh, I have to watch that again. I've heard of that. I don't. Yeah.
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 I
I've
can't
heard of
remember
that.
the exact scene, but the
Yeah.
ghost is standing in the window of the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
If you Google it, Three Men and a Baby, ghost, it is the creepiest thing I've ever seen in a movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So 1991, September 11th, 1991, what date did that correspond to? Was that with George W. Bush?
Yeah, the September 11th, 1991, that was from The Big Lebowski. And then September 11th, 2001 was The Matrix. And I don't know what it means, but it seems strangely coincidental, and I don't really believe in coincidences. And when you look at the story that we were told about 9/11, I don't feel like we're getting the full story. I don't understand how that building number 7 collapsed. Like
Yeah,
a
there's
pancake. The
yeah.
only building in the history of steel reinforced buildings to just collapse like that. They said it was because internal fires, even though you don't see any smoke coming out of that building. It's very odd. So, and then when you hear about what was supposedly in that building, it seems strangely coincidental that would be a building that would be demolished. So, and apparently the person that owned the building took out some massive insurance policy on the building before, like a month or two before 9/11. So, yeah, it looks like it imploded. Exactly. So, yeah, it's just, and it's like you were saying, Dallisa, it's distraction, it's control, it's all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I don't think we ever got the truth about 9/11, just like we never got the truth about JFK or the Vietnam War. You could go on and on and on.
Yeah, so this might be like the time when the truth does break free. Oh, Edward, why you gotta debunk it? It was so creepy. Okay, well, at least I know it was fake now. All right, let's see what we got next. Grand Canyon wildfires. So Grand Canyon up in flames. Part of it, they had closed down it says 2 wildfires have torn through the Grand Canyon's north rim, destroying up to 80 structures, including the historic Grand Canyon Lodge. So,
wow.
The Grand Canyon was not on my bingo card for 2025 for being on fire. Yeah, we're going to have a bingo card for 2026, but just kind of strange. It kind of feels like a weird fire. But I know there's a lot of fires happening right now. And I think it was 5 airplanes carrying water to some wildfires in Washington today that flew over the top of me. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me though. I think even if it's wildfires or if it's volcano, erupting, I think Earth is just going to let us have it in some ways.
Well, this is what we've been talking about in terms of, Uranus in Gemini, Pluto in Aquarius. Those are both air signs aligning with Saturn and Neptune in Aries, which is fire. So that combustible frequency is just kind of holding. It's in this holding pattern through July and August. So I would expect more of these sorts of headlines. And just like the other headline before with the AI and all of that, it's like just technology is going to be erupting, but then actual fires is erupting. So Mother Earth is upgrading. Exactly.
Yep.
So, and we're a part of Earth. So we have to upgrade with the Earth. So.
Yes. Oh,
That's
wow.
crazy. That's crazy. But I believe it. I'm not saying you're crazy, Michelle. I love that. Like this is what I like to hear is like somebody who is actually there, who witnessed something happen. And this makes so much sense to me because how many times have you seen a plane crash? You see the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Where was the plane? You just saw like a black, there's no plane. Like there's like bits and pieces of a plane, but not like what a normal plane crash looks like, right? Like the images of Flight 93, when they show where supposedly it crashed, you just see like black smoke or like from flames, but you don't see the fuselage. Where's the fuselage? Scattered thousands of miles or hundreds of miles because it was shot down so I believe the old timer on the porch.
Yeah.
I'm going with the old timer on the porch. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so now we have a couple about money.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that Uranus Taurus 29 degrees, I know we're going to go retrograding back over it.
Mm-hmm.
But this one's saying that from car rentals to coffee, inflation is rampant. So last week, I think we had that story about the woman who bought the bagel and cup of coffee in Las Vegas and paid $33.
That's crazy.
So there's that one. And then I think I have one other one. Yeah. Plunging dollar leaves American travelers with less buying power this summer. So basically they're saying the price of things is going up in the United States, but even if you wanted to go someplace else and use your dollars, they're not really worth as much either.
Mm-hmm.
So just this dismantling of the dollar.
Well, this is what we've been talking about for years now with not Pluto, but Uranus transiting through Taurus is a revolution of security, finance, a relationship to money. And even though, I'm always the reason why I got into astrology was because of conspiracy, so trying to figure out like what is the truth here, like when you think about like why aren't we taught this in schools? Why aren't we taught to learn more? Like, I feel like there's a conspiracy against astrology where it's like, even on like I use Duolingo, and there's so like learning Spanish, and there's so much messaging through this app Duolingo. And there's one, like you do these stories and you watch the stories of the different characters and you fill in the blanks and so on and so forth. And there's one that's like, astrology is a lie. is like the title of the story. And I'm like, wow, they're really, and this one character is saying that, yeah, I'm a Libra, but that means nothing. And they're programming us to discount this ancient language that is here to support and help us receive clarity in who we are. But like this plunging dollar leaves American like this. We are in a depression. I feel like, it's like no one is just, no one's saying it. They're covering it up, but yeah, inflation, everything is more expensive. The dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. Um, it's about control, and that's why ultimately Uranus and Taurus, as we complete it, the end of this year and into next year, is going to be about really honoring our self-worth, our values, what's really important to me. And we're going to have to maybe cut back in some areas where you're like, yeah, you know what, that's not worth it to me anymore. I'm not going to go to Vegas and spend $33 on a coffee and bagel. That doesn't make any sense.
Yep. So fear equals control. And so, yeah, these headlines aren't going to lighten up anytime soon.
No.
They're getting us where they want us to be. But those of us that are awake, we can obviously talk about this and gather each week and and go through these. Cindy's asking if you know anything about Chinese astrology.
Not a lot. I mean, I know that I was born in the year of the rabbit. What I've looked up about Chinese astrology, it totally makes sense to me. I think it's another way to gain insight into who you are. I wouldn't consider myself an expert by any means, but I definitely, everything that every time I've looked up Chinese astrology as it pertains to me, it's like, wow, okay, there's something to this. So, yeah, I love it. I'm just not, I don't know it like I know this kind of astrology. Yeah, shopping by local, I love that, Allison. The thing is about shopping by local though, there's like this little health food store in my neighborhood and I buy a supplement from there. I've gone there, like the last 3 months, I've gone in to buy a supplement. The one that I wanted, it was the last one. I came back, they still hadn't replaced it. So I bought the other kind. It's kind of like the one that I wanted, and I bought that one. And then there was one more left. I came back and I bought that one. And every time I go in, I tell the guy, "Are you going to order more of these? You going to order more?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." And he remembered what I wanted. But, and I went in there to buy more of the supplement earlier this week and they were completely out. And it's been a month since I've been there. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to Amazon and I'm buying it there because it's there. So it's like, I'm trying to help these local businesses, but it's like, if I'm telling you, like, I want this product, please stock this product. And then they don't do it. I'm like, okay, well, I can't help you. I want to shop and buy local. I want to support the little guy, but the little guy has to also support me.
Yeah. No, there's truth to that. So maybe somebody can start a new store in your area, just like you're going to open the LA Cracker Barrel.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, we've got a few about war. So, nothing new about this headline. There's a lot of drones in the
This is
photo, which
crazy
is
looking.
interesting.
Yeah, it's like those images of World War II where you see all those like B-52 bombers flying into Europe to bomb, Germany, but now it's drones. It's just really such a ominous photo or image.
Because I think you and I have talked about how war will just look different than how it's looked before. And when I saw this news story, I thought, oh, this is part of that newness that we haven't seen in war before, is that fighting is different. The way we fight is different. So, so the drones were part of this article. And then this is what I talked about earlier. With manufacturing weapons for Ukraine. And sounds like, based on what I heard today, Russia was like, we don't care. in response to Trump saying you've got 50 days to figure this out. I've looked at Putin's energy before, and him talking about a nuclear weapon does not surprise me. When I looked at him, oh God, I always forget when I channel how long ago it's been since I lose track of time, but let's call it 3 or 4 months ago. I remember looking at Putin's energy around the war and that he wanted to leave some kind of legacy. And so doing some kind of catastrophic weapon deployment wouldn't surprise me, unfortunately. So then the last article, that's the good news one. So we can talk about the war stuff. So I don't think there's anything we haven't covered in recent weeks that we, couldn't say again, but I just think that it's going to amp up more. I don't even think we've seen the escalation of this yet. And it doesn't surprise me that Russia's like, yeah, go suck it. We don't care.
Yeah. I mean, if you're Putin, like, he's been running that country for how long now? I mean, it's been like 2+ decades. He's got to feel very secure in his position.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, Uranus in Gemini, that's where it was during World War II, and we saw new forms of warfare that we hadn't seen before. So maybe that's going to come about again right now during this latest transit. Where's the grand solar flash when we need it? Yeah. So, I just really want to point to like Mercury retrograde right now as well, because Mercury's stuck at 15 degrees in Leo for the next week, and it's challenging our hearts. It's challenging us to connect our minds to our hearts, to speak from our heart, to listen from our heart. And so there's a lot of tension this week with Mercury's stagnation. And wherever you're feeling the tension is where you need to direct your heart, your love. And so a lot of these news stories can bring up fear. And the fear is meant to be balanced, thinking of the Libra frequency, balanced with love. And you balance the fear with love by recognizing the root of the fear. Where does that come from within you? And show yourself love for, it's like I think about my 2 children on the way. If they're afraid, I'm hopefully not going to instill more fear in them. I'm going to show them love to balance out that fear. And that's what we need to do for ourselves right now.
Yes, yes, yes. Good reminder for all of us. Whew. The last story of the week, I had to put some good news in here somewhere. A Vermont engineer has taken old payphones and restored them and then put them up in different places around the community because the community didn't have good cell phone service in some pockets. And so if a kid wanted to go to the library and they didn't have a cell phone and there was no cell service, they could go and like pick up the phone and call their parents and ask them to come pick them up.
So cool.
Yeah, I'm like, this guy is using a talent that he has of restoring these payphones and doing something for his community.
It's amazing.
Yes.
That's Pluto and Aquarius. Pluto and Aquarius for sure. It's, yeah. How are you contributing to the collective? What are you bringing to the group? So yeah, compassion. And that's the North Node in Pisces right now is compassion. And so let's not forget that Mars isn't just making a conjunction with the South Node, it's making an opposition to the North Node. And so it's encouraging us to be compassionate through the critical nature of our own inner voice. But yeah, really love this story of, this is just like somebody who has a gift and is sharing their gift with the community to support the community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Great example. We all have light. We all have our own gifts and talents. So how are we
Yes.
utilizing them?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we got through all of our headlines. Yeah. So anybody that missed it earlier on in the show, Scott mentioned his podcast. It's called The Weekly Transit. And it's wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can also watch it, like watch Scott talking about it on YouTube, which is my preferred method of watching. So make sure you go subscribe to Scott's YouTube channel, The Weekly Transit. Subscribe to this one if you haven't yet. Give it a thumbs up, all the good things. And we talked about your synastry chart. So if somebody's in a relationship with someone, it could be a boss and an employee. It could be two best friends. It could be people considering going into business together. Two people that are married. It could be like any two people looking at a relationship. So it's called a synastry chart. But they're very interesting.
Yes. I have a lot of clients that I work with that even if they don't come with the other person, they'll have like the birth date, if not the birth date, time, and place of the person, and then helps give them insight into like, yeah, they're having trouble with their boss or a sibling or a parent or a child, it's to give them insight. It's like kind of like your cheat code so that you understand why, like my whole purpose, I say it all the time, is to help you understand who you are so you can accept, appreciate, and love who you are. My purpose with synastry is to help you understand the other person so you can accept, appreciate, and love them. And if they're working with me, helping them understand, accept, and appreciate, and love you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Your website is theweeklytransit.com. I'm over at spiritandspark.com. I just want to quickly mention a couple of things on my end. We talked about spam last week. I am still going into people's spam folders. So if you're like, gosh, why hasn't Dallisa emailed me back? Oh, I did. It's in your spam folder. So take a look. Please mark it as not spam. Add me to your contact list. That's where I'm living these days, in the spam folder for whatever reason. There's a heck of a lot of people coming to the class I'm doing on the other side. It's Name Your Own Price, and you get access to the live class on July 30th. You also get the replay. And some people have asked me like, well, I can't make it on July 30th. Should I just register? Yes, because if you go on my website under the classes tab and enroll, you can name your own price. Once the class is over on July 30th, it's then $35. So you might as well just make a donation. That way you get the replay and you can watch it when you have time if you can't make it live. But that's going to be a lot of fun. I was recently on Ann Tucker's Wisdom Soup channel. I was on, oh my goodness gracious, I was on Inspired Evolution with Amrit Sandhu. That one was a lot of fun. There was another big one that came out last week. Which one was it? The Uest You with Julie Reisler. They like all hit at one time. So a lot of people are new and watching Scott and I for the first time this week. So welcome. And this is where we get together every Tuesday. And we have the live chat going, and we talk to everybody in the community and talk about what's going on, and we can get through it together for sure. So this is like our touch base for the week. Which is awesome. So we went way over today.
I love it. Man, this was like an hour and 45 minutes strong. Like, man, we can really talk here.
I know. Well, you texted me earlier and said, I don't have a hard stop today, so we can talk as long as you want.
If we don't have a hard stop, I could go for another hour, 2 hours. Yeah, I'm happy to talk.
I know, it's fun. It's I look forward to doing this every week and hopefully our community members feel the same way about this, because when I get on here and we're talking about this and we're talking about the energy and what's going on and how to work with it, it doesn't matter what was happening before I got on, right? Even because some days are harder than others. But when I get on here and I'm like, all right, let's talk about it, then I feel like, okay, we're going to get through this. We're going to make it. It's like a pep talk for all of us for the week.
Yes, exactly.
So I appreciate our time together. Thank you.
You're welcome. The feelings are mutual, Dallisa. I'm so grateful for you, and so grateful for everyone in the chat. Shout out to Robin and Anne Marie. I see you here, and of course, Dallisa's mom. And
yes, I mean, she'll just keep complimenting us on the, about our hair, and we're good.
Yeah. But everyone here is just so kind and thoughtful, and just really, really appreciate all of your support, and grateful to know that what we're sharing here is supporting you, because that's what I am here to do. That's my intention. And I know that's Dallisa's too. So yes.
We still have to pull our winner for the tarot report.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Because I forgot the dang jar to begin with.
The jar filled up though. It did fill up.
Oh my gosh. And then I saw somebody say, I told you about the jar early on in the comments. I don't know how I missed it. I was like, oh, okay, sorry. But yes, if you ever see the jar missing from the screen, just say, Dallisa, put the jar on the screen. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was so excited about your huge news that you gave earlier.
Oh, it threw you off.
It threw me off. I was so excited that my brain got scrambled. So yes. Okay, I'm going to drop my email address in the chat there. So whoever the winner is today, you'll have until 11:59 p.m. tonight Pacific Standard Time to email me and claim your 12-month personalized tarot card report. So good stuff. Okay, we're going to do our drum roll.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yep.
One of these days, we're actually going to get a drum. Okay, and the winner this week is... Amosina?
Amosina.
I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it will be that it matches your YouTube name. So Aimosina. Okay. Beautiful name. I probably am not saying it right, but that's our winner.
We still got people. Edward's still bringing up Cracker Barrel. Up in Camarillo. Okay, I'm going to have to head on up to Camarillo.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
Next time I'm driving up to Santa Barbara or back, I'll stop in Camarillo and find that Cracker Barrel.
One thing is for sure, the next or first time you see a Cracker Barrel, you'll laugh and think of all of us.
I definitely want to find one now. I'm going to laugh. I'll take a picture of me at a Cracker Barrel and you can put it on the slide image here.
Perfect. Done and done. Yes.
Yay. Hilarious.
Well, you have so much love today from all of our community members to you, Scott. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
And Cracker Barrel gift card in the jar next week. That would be epic. We'll have to come up with another prize one of these days, maybe. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Scott. Thank you to everybody in the community. We will be back next Tuesday for another episode of Planets and Predictions. And we'll take a look at what kind of madness is ensuing then. So take care of yourself out there, and we'll be seeing you soon. Bye.